who's an actor in the film, who is joining us from their team today.
Hi. Hey, Leslie. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. This film really resonated with me, as I'm sure it did for a lot of audiences, because it really found a way to blend comedy with more about, how your team was able to find that balance of comedy.
Wait, because I've looked up to Zach, who directed and wrote the film, for my whole life since I watched him do improv comedy, and all of the people who made it similarly. Yeah, and yet at the same time, the script was so perfect that most of what you see is what was scripted. We did improvise some stuff. I'm trying to think what made it in that was improvised. At the end of the day, actually, mostly it was there. There's just a few little lines which I think changed around, but the other funny thing though was the fight, like the wrestling match. Actually, it wasn't really. I mean, it was. I read the script and I was so bowled over by it, and talked to Zach, and then quickly it came together. So there actually wasn't a long casting process, but.
Me. Okay. Thanks, Io. June plays Thelma, and Fred plays her grandson, my son, and Parker Posey's son, and Parker. And so she, for being asleep still at 10:30 in the morning, an unlikely action star, and she decides to go get her.
It's very natural. We met beforehand, and I got to come over to your place and hang.
The cemetery scene. With
a little bit, if you're lucky again, watch other people start to care about this thing that you never thought that far ahead that other people would. So it's an amazing feeling.
I'm proud of that movie.
On the day, they say, on the day. And
if he just bugs them?
Yeah, but it means he ends up talking to them on the phone for like 30
Yeah, I've seen the clips on the scooter. I've seen the clips on the scooter.
And my favorite stunts are watching your stunts, I would have to say. I've never driven the LA freeways and all that.
It's an intense version of it.
Well, that was one of the things I was honestly curious about, especially when it came to.
I mean, yeah, Mike just gave us so much freedom to play with it and try stuff in it. It is really a gift to be able to kind of just exist with a performer. Like, I mean, Steve and I also got to, because we were all living together, we got to, run the lines in the hotel rooms and just spend all this time. Yeah, it really was it's just the best thing ever. It's this thing where it really is like that. I don't know. There was no, sometimes trying to communicate because that's what it seems like other people would do in that moment, and then realizing that feels uncomfortable to him, or then just being himself and not giving anything, and knowing that Mark is gonna he's like a
look at him in the eye for a long period of time. How much do you get?
Fred Hechinger. Congratulations. I don't have words to say this anymore. I'm so obsessed with this series. I'm so happy for you guys. Congratulations.
I love that you're obsessed with it. Thank you.
Before I get to Fear Street, and your scene in it is quite
after, and it was really special to me. Was I have a small part in that movie, and yet when I got cast, he let me read, to improvise and play and sort of find the character. And it was also really illuminating as an actor because it
is news of the world. And I swear, what was it early last year? I'm busy watching that. Really good. He's something special. I'm going to see more of him. And sure enough, now this year I get two things that you're in that I'm also upset. One of the biggest of the big actors in Tom Hanks. What is something?
I think that if you just sanction off yourself and you protect yourself, that you do the most true work. And in reality, and watching him, it really was the opposite. It was we have to open ourselves up to each other, and that's not an impediment to doing honest and sometimes very dramatic and even dark work. If anything, it makes it easier because people trust one another. And I don't know. It was also it's as much your acting is the fun part. Acting is you get to act. Like, that's the joyous thing. Like, that means that the rest of the work is sort of, as an actor, that's number one on the call sheet is making sure that everyone else is comfortable. That's also fun in its own way. But that, like, is equally important when you're at the top, I think, is just, you know, making sure that, I don't know, the ship is moving and everyone's on board. And there was also a thing with Greengrass too, which was, we were really able to take our time, and that's somewhat rare. I've seen one time, and we, like, you know, classically, like, you keep moving in, you just kept playing, and Greengrass decided to move back in because he heard a few little lines that he hadn't heard before. Oh, let's try that too. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so liberating and thrilling and exciting to be able to be like, oh wait, no, like, he was listening. He was always listening. I just thought I felt very honored to be with all of them and be a part of that. It was so cool.
I could ask a million more questions about News of the World, but I'm obsessed with Fear Street. So I have to ask a million questions about that right now instead, beginning with the fact that Simon, to me,
the exact breakdown or the initial script. But I do remember that in one of the original scripts, there was like a comment on a perfume that he smelled like, that he used, like a cheap perfume that he used. And it was a specific brand. And the day that I had my audition with Lee, like, she really cares about the people in her movies, and
were the ones that resonated the most with people and were super intense, especially like when Kayla's in the car with Riley. Like, everybody cringes for Kayla because we're like, no, she was doing so well, she was learning so much about herself, and then here comes Riley, you know. He's great though. Like, the actual Daniel, he's actually a great person. Yeah.
Riley character a little bit because Daniel's not here, I guess, and he can't talk about it. I think what he really does so beautifully with that character is he makes him relatable and he empathizes. You know, Riley and Kayla do have a moment of connection, and that's kind of what makes it so devastating. I mean, the moment when you kind of are like, oh, I hear, you know, you're quiet, I'm quiet, like, it's beautiful. The fact that he is in that nice boy, you know, he's the nice guy, and being in that position and then not, you know, abusing that kind of trust that's been created is what's so, I think, devastating about the scene, and also, like, incredibly real.
Yeah!